The Happiness Hypothesis, by Haidt. The Pursuit of Happiness. According to the Book of Ecclesiastes, the pursuit of happiness is futile. The author, who attributes himself to a king in Jerusalem, tried everything to find happiness, but nothing worked. He concluded that the only way to be happy is to accept that life is meaningless and to not get attached to external things. Recent research in psychology suggests that Buddha and Epictetus may have taken things too far. Some things are worth striving for, and happiness comes in part from outside of yourself. The Progress Principle. The author of Ecclesiastes was disappointed by success because the pleasure of getting what you want is often fleeting. The author of Ecclesiastes was disappointed by success because the pleasure of getting what you want is often fleeting. The author calls this the progress principle. He suggests that we focus on the journey towards our goals, not just the end result. This will help us to enjoy the process more and be less disappointed when we finally achieve our goals. The Adaptation Principle. Research shows that our ability to predict our emotional reactions to life changes is flawed. We often overestimate the intensity and duration of our emotional responses. Lottery winners, for example, initially experience happiness but adapt over time. Quadriplegics, on the other hand, experience profound loss but adapt and find pleasure in progress. Stephen Hawking exemplifies this principle. Despite his debilitating condition, he achieved scientific success and remarked that anything he's experienced since his diagnosis has been a bonus. Our brains have a default level of happiness, largely determined by genetics. Adam Smith observed that the mind returns to its natural state of tranquility, regardless of prosperity or adversity. The Early Happiness Hypothesis. The ancient philosophies of Buddhism and Stoicism emphasize that happiness lies within us. They teach that external factors have a minimal impact on our overall well-being. Marriage, social connections, and religion significantly contribute to happiness. However, wealth, race, gender, and climate have limited influence on our happiness. Did you know that wealthy individuals are only slightly happier than the middle class? Rising income often leads to higher expectations but not greater happiness. The pursuit of external goals is a recurring theme in ancient philosophies. They advise focusing on inner and spiritual development, which is essential for lasting happiness. The Happiness Formula. Did you know that happiness is not just determined by our genes? In fact, voluntary activities like exercise and meditation hold more promise for increasing happiness. The happiness formula, H equals S plus C plus V, explains that happiness depends on our biological set point, S, life conditions, C, and voluntary activities, V. It's essential to identify the external conditions worth striving for. For example, reducing noise or improving your commute can lead to lasting increases in well-being. The number and strength of personal relationships play a critical role in happiness. It's important to cultivate and maintain healthy relationships. Despite the ancient teachings about adapting to external conditions, it's challenging for real people to fully emulate such practices. Embracing action and striving for better external conditions often aligns with our desires for happiness and fulfillment. Finding flow. Flow is a state of complete engagement in a challenging task that matches your skills. It's a source of true enjoyment. Flow requires a clear challenge, matched skills, and immediate feedback. It often arises during physical activities, with music or social interaction, or when engaged in solitary creative pursuits. Gratifications are activities that fully engage you, draw on your strengths, and allow you to lose self-consciousness. Knowing your strengths is key to finding gratifications. Studies show that engaging in activities that leverage your strengths leads to longer-lasting improvements in mood compared to indulgent pleasures. Misguided pursuits. Economic models assume people act rationally in their self-interest. However, Robert Frank challenges this by demonstrating that some behaviors result from moral emotions that make us strategically irrational at times. Luxury fever explores why citizens in wealthier nations don't become happier. People spend money on conspicuous consumption, which creates a competitive race, diminishing happiness. In contrast, inconspicuous consumption involves personal and private pleasures that contribute more to happiness. Research shows that experiences provide more happiness than material possessions, largely due to their social value. Modern life is full of traps, often set by marketers and advertisers who exploit our natural instincts to seek status rather than happiness. The paradox of choice is one such trap, where too many options lead to dissatisfaction. Maximizers, who always seek the best choice, often end up less happy and more anxious than satisficers, who settle for good enough. Maximizers are more prone to social comparison and conspicuous consumption. In essence, modern life is full of traps that can lead to misguided pursuits. Conspicuous consumption does not lead to lasting happiness. It's time to shift towards inconspicuous consumption and find lasting happiness. The happiness hypothesis reconsidered. Buddha's teachings on detachment may not be universal. Research suggests that people tend to report satisfaction with their lives, even in challenging circumstances. Buddha's emphasis on detachment may have been shaped by his turbulent times. In contrast, modern life in wealthy democracies is more predictable and safe. Western thinkers celebrate passionate attachments as essential to a fulfilling life. Embracing emotions, goals, and pleasures is seen as living life to the fullest. A balanced approach could involve combining Eastern wisdom about inner peace with Western ideals of passionate engagement. Happiness might come from both within and without, with guidance from both traditions and modern psychology.